Hey there, cats and kitties. I am the Blues Man, Johnny Blues, coming at you with another One Punch Man Season 2 discussion, this time discussing Episode 4 of Season 2, respectively, and it was all kinds of awesome sauce, once again. And I'm probably going to be saying that about the vast majority of One Punch Man Season 2 episodes, just getting that out of the way right away. This one was not nearly as highfalutin hilarious as some of the previous episodes. I didn't find myself laughing as much, even though I did laugh out loud a couple of times. I think the thing that really resounded for me in this particular episode was some of the action beats and some of the drama, the sort of steering toward dramatic revelatory elements, especially revolving around Garou in the opening of the episode, going back to his childhood and learning that he was the type of guy who championed the villains. We can kind of equate from his mindset that he was looking at these creatures, these beings, these villainous monsters and things of that sort, as not being in the wrong, as being these beings that were trying to achieve something, aspiring towards something. And then lo and behold, the little dinky hero comes along and trounces them, puts a stop to whatever it is they're trying to reach and hope for. And so as far as his perspective goes, as a child, you know, he looked upon these villains and these monsters as just normal, average people going after whatever it was they wanted to go after. He didn't exactly, recognize those things like trying to take over the world or rule the world or enslave everyone or have the most riches or be the most powerful, power set wise and all this kind of stuff. He didn't see that stuff as being in the wrong necessarily, and he always found the villains to be that much more intriguing and interesting and engaging. And there is a segment of superhero culture, of that fandom, that very much, you look at the MCU's Thanos or the character of Loki, the Batman Rogues Gallery's Joker or Sephiroth from Final Fantasy VII. These are all, air quotes, villains that a lot of the fandoms revolving around those particular IPs just find to be, because of their enigmatic, mysterious nature, they find them to be that much more magnetic and more engrossing and are captivated that much more by them than the respective heroes that would take them down, put a stop to whatever nefarious plans they have that they're trying to put into motion. And so Garou is cut from the same kind of cloth, and I find that really intriguing to learn that about him. This speaks wholly to his mission statement in young adulthood to want to trounce every hero he encounters, because he wants very much to reach and hope and aspire toward all of those villains and monsters of old that he watched in childhood, to achieve their dreams for them in their stead of being the top of the heap, being the most powerful, and making a name for himself as well. And he doesn't really see that he's doing anything wrong necessarily. There is some part of his character that I think is kind of taking a twisted, perverse sense of satisfaction out of doing this, whenever he does beat the bloody hell out of a hero, but it's for this grander statement, this grander mission that he has set forth for himself. And so to learn that there's that much more to it, that he isn't sort of a cookie cutter, cut and paste villain, is that much more intriguing. And then, of course, he wakes up in a stupor in a back alley after Saitama had knocked his ass out in the previous episode. And immediately he guns for Metal Bat, because Metal Bat is otherwise occupied. That's where the other half of the focus of this episode basically takes off of. Metal Bat is not very happy with his current mission of, for all intents and purposes, babysitting an official from the Hero Association as well as Sun, both replete with their pinstripe suits, looking decadent as all hell in their Sunday best and being very obtuse to just normal behavior in a restaurant setting and things like that. So Metal Bat very much characterizes it all very well and very aptly, I think, by saying this is hell on earth and I'd rather be doing anything else. That is, until these giant centipede creatures attack. For whatever reason, they're gunning for this official and the official's son. I guess they're going to hold them hostage for some reason. There's some ulterior motive that we're not entirely clear on yet. And then there's like this big plant dude, this sleepy, smelly plant dude that, speaking of Sephiroth in Final Fantasy, reminded me very much of the Marlboro plants you would always face in various iterations of that franchise that would knock your characters out in the RPG format and whatever like that. But Metal Bat basically hands them all their asses, and I loved being reintroduced to his character in this such a way, because I only have really fleeting, vague memories of his character from Season 1. It's just been so so long since season 1 aired, and while I remember the character design, the look of the character, he's one of the characters that features on my One Punch Man poster that is on my bedroom door, very small off to the side as he may be, so I don't readily remember how much of him we saw in season 1 and how kick-ass or not he was. But so to be introduced to him, though, reintroduced in this such a way where he's kicking ass and taking names and protecting this aficionado and son and everything like that was really all kinds of awesome sauce. And so, as I say, Garo guns straight for him, though, knowing he's involved with this fight with these giant centipedes, the giant senpai centipede, which may or may not hint to a bigger bad overall in this particular season. I've been all about thinking Saitama and Garo were going to be the end game, them going head to head. But as one of you guys mentioned in the comments on my previous episode discussion video, if Saitama could take Garo out with just one flick of the hand, as he did at the end of the last episode, and completely knock him out and not even know who Garo was at that point, maybe that speaks to and hints to something grander in scope as far as an end game, that kind of thing. And that started getting my mind percolating. I was like, yeah, I wonder if that could be the case. And then watching this episode, I was thinking everything from, is the little kid that Garo is spending all the time with in the park, is he going to, seek revenge because Garo gets his ass beat by Saitama or something, and he becomes a big bad who's been in disguise all along or something like that? Or is it going to be one of these centipedes, the Senpai Centipede, because we see, coinciding with Senpai Centipede's, debut, they call over to the Hero Association and they're talking about, oh, I hope it's not going to be like that creature that time that came about, and all the S-class heroes, forget it. We're dead. We're going to be dead in the water. We're going to lose the whole city if this thing shows itself again. And so I don't know if the Senpai Centipede is the creature they were talking about. It definitely looks like a really big problem that even Metal Bat himself, just by himself, is having trouble with, and then having to have his attentions turned now to Garo, who wants to beat the ever-loving spit out of him and everything, taking him away from stopping this creature. And I thought it was really clever, I have to say, because what would usually happen? Typically, if we go back to season 1, Saitama would just come out of nowhere. He'd have been shopping for groceries and, oh, there's this big giant centipede. I'm going to punch it and we'll be fine. We'll all be saved. But he is otherwise occupied with this martial arts tournament that he's trying to enter under the guise of being Charanko. And I just think it's so clever that is how they have him otherwise occupied, so he can't come in and effectively save the day. It's up to other heroes, whether it's going to be Genos, whether it's going to be Metal Bat, whether it's going to be Garo taking down this giant centipede because he wants to be the king of the monsters. Remains to be seen as we get into the next episode, but for all intents and purposes, Saitama is donning the little orange afro. He signed up as Charanko, and he's not really even sure what Charanko's special abilities are. He puts on something water polo, something I don't even remember. But then he got this big bulky sourpuss or sour face guy. I don't remember what he said his name was, who apparently is familiar with Charanko, and so Saitama's hiding his face the whole time because he doesn't want to get recognized as not being Charanko. But he's calling back to the year before, the tournament before, where there was a guy in a wolf's mask, and he wore the mask through the entire tournament. It was subsequent that he won the tournament. And so everyone thinks that was probably Garo, and that was his first pass at all of this, trying to take down his betters and prove that he is the most powerful overall. And if in fact that was who was wearing, the wolf's mask at the time, it wasn't enough for him, very obviously. And so now he's on this other accord to go after all of these different heroes and whatever like that. But so, Saitama, he's bored out of his mind, and I don't even think he knows what he's gotten himself into necessarily. And coinciding parallel to this, we have Charanko proper, who is still recuperating in the hospital, being attemptedly being assuaged by Moomin Rider to say, nah, man, Saitama's not going to go and try to pretend to be you and enter this martial arts competition. He's a hero. He's too good of a guy. He knows better. He knows right from wrong. How little they know Saitama, you know what I'm saying? But that does lead me to wonder, because we got a little bit of a hint of an oncoming martial arts, battle or something like that, toward the end of the episode. I am wondering if Saitama's actually going to partake. I mean, with his prowess, with his level of power, he's going to have to dial it back and then some to not just, completely lay waste to everyone he encounters and goes up against. If, in fact, he takes part in this martial arts competition, I'm almost half wondering if we're going to see him watching some fights and then something, whether it's the big Senpai Centipede or the threat of Garo, something is going to take his attention away from it, and maybe he's not going to partake in it and participate. I don't know. That's just my speculation, because I almost can't fathom him kicking ass in a martial arts tournament without just killing everyone. So it's gonna be intriguing to see if he goes up against, if he does, take part in it, if he goes up against anyone who can hold their own against him, maybe is faster moving, more limber because they know different kinds of, fighting techniques rather than just punching, which is all he's really good at. So that does spell a level of curiosity and intrigue to me that I'm really just anticipating. I can't wait to see exactly how it's going to play out that way. But there's Moomin just championing how exalted and grand Saitama is, how knowing, how pure of heart, and all this stuff. He's not going to do wrong. He's not going to go submit himself and pretend to be you. He bought the wig already. It's done. It's a done deal. He's trying to get it, and it's just gonna be interesting to see where we leave everything off as like a cliffhanger in this episode. Saitama potentially getting involved in this martial arts tournament. Garo gunning after Metal Bat, this giant impending doom and gloom of the Senpai Centipede, and whatever the purposes are, why these centipedes, why this smelly, sleepy plant was after this official from the Hero Association to begin with remains to be seen. But it does, as I say, spell to something grander in scope potentially down the line. And could we, this is just my speculation and curiosity, could we end up seeing sort of an impromptu partnership between Garo, who is kind of like the antithetical Saitama, and Saitama proper? Could they have to work together, pool their resources and their powers to come together inadvertently and best whatever it's going to be, before actually maybe even getting to go head-to-head themselves against each other? I really have no idea. I've never read the source material. I've always been waiting for the anime adaptation follow-up this season 2, as we're currently watching, so it's just going to be really intriguing to me. And then, of course, post-credits, we actually had the debut of another character. I don't know if we've actually seen this character before. He kind of looks vaguely familiar to me, as maybe having been someone we saw in Season 1, or it could be a completely new character that just has a familiar character design aesthetic. I don't know. But we see him walking up to two girls who are watching the Senpai Centipede wreaking havoc, and he wants to go watch it closer for some reason. I don't know if he's a hero, he's a perverse villain getting off on it. I don't know what's up with this character. If you guys happen to know if we've seen him before without giving me any spoilers, let me know that in the comments below, because I just wasn't sure who he was. But then, speaking of the ending, I actually really like the ED in this episode. I don't know if it's been the same ED every single episode, because I've usually been skipping over them. But this time I just happened to watch it because I liked all of the sort of prismatic colors and everything, and the melody and just the vocalizations really stood out to me as really cool. I don't think that's been the same ED every episode. I could be wrong, but I just really enjoyed it. And so that's basically what I have to say about the episode on whole. If you haven't already gotten the gist, I enjoyed the ever-loving hell out of it, every dripping minute. And so I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments below what you thought of episode 4 of season 2 of One Punch Man. If you've seen it as well, love it or hate it, anything goes in the comments below, as long as you are respectable, sharing your opinions, and respectful of others if they happen to disagree. And if you happen to enjoy this video and would like to consider supporting my channel, please have a look at my PayPal support link posted both in the description as well as the comments below. It affords you opportunities very much akin to Patreon, where you can set up a monthly recurring contribution, a one-time only kind of thing. You can send me a personal message with any contribution you send my way, requesting topics I may discuss in the future, ask for shout-outs, or make recommendations of things I may check out and would inevitably shout you out down the line if I happen to discuss. And anything you saw fit to send my way would be 2 thumbs up for me in securing my longevity on YouTube for the foreseeable future. And so yeah, until the next one, that'll be pretty much it for me on this. Hope this video finds you well, and I'll catch you all later. Peace.